Well, welcome again to another Hardware Canucks product showcase. We have a really exciting case on the table today. It's the Lancool Dragonlord PC-K62. Now, you probably haven't heard of Lancool. They're relatively new to the market, but they are definitely not new to cases. They are a subsidiary brand of Lian-Li, which is a Taiwanese manufacturer who is well known for their aluminum cases and their relatively high price. The Lancool brand is intended to be a little more price conscious, but the case is still spawned from the minds at Lian-Li, so we're hoping that it carries some of the same traits that makes the company's top-end chassis so well known. The K62 takes a somewhat familiar and relatively simple design and looks to make it into something that looks good, is easy to use, and is relatively affordable. The biggest difference between Lian-Li and Lancool is the fact that Lancool's cases are constructed out of a solid steel, rather than Lian-Li, who typically uses aluminum. This adds quite a bit of weight, and the total is a hefty 21 pounds. It is 18.4 inches wide, 19.5 inches high, and 19.6 inches in length. The front panel is plastic with venting for airflow and 5 bays for external drives. The panel is easily removable with little force and is great for getting at the removable dust filters, which the 140mm LED fan is sure to attract. At the top, we have a simple connector assortment with just 2 USB, audio and microphone jacks, along with activity LEDs and power reset switches. The back of the top panel has open slats for airflow, and quickly removing the cover reveals 2 more 140mm LED fans. Now this is pretty cool. Lancool has designed the fans to be quickly and easily removed. In fact, all of the fans on the chassis use this same design. It may be a bit gimmicky because honestly, how often are you changing fans? But you'll soon get the idea. The side window uses an open and thick clear plexiglass side, which isn't nearly as dull as the video makes it. There is an alternate version of the case out without the side window if it's not your thing. Jumping to the back, we realize that the case is a bottom-mounted power supply design, and the top holds a 120mm exhaust fan, the I/O area, and water cooling holes. The PCI expansion slots have an added bonus with 8 in total, making this the perfect solution for persons using a dual-slot video card at the bottom of their motherboard. And at the bottom, the power supply area. The bottom of the case has also not been overlooked. It includes a dust filter directly underneath the power supply, and again, it is incredibly easy to remove and clean. Now here's where the real fun begins. Let's open it up for a closer look. The inside is a perfectly painted black, giving a uniform look to the computer once assembled. There's plenty of space, and it's really well structured for good airflow. Looking at the power supply, it sits on raised rails above the filtered air intake area and is an excellent design for proper cooling. The K62 uses an innovative screwless rack-style hard drive bay design, of which there are room for 4 3.5-inch drives. Moving up, there are also 5 5.25-inch drive bays, only 2 of which use another unique screwless system. The case supports both ATX and MATX form factors with pre-installed studs. There's also the coveted CPU cooler backplate opening, as well as openings around the side and bottom of where the board typically sits. The motherboard tray is spaced away from the back panel to allow for cable routing along the back. As you can see, the PCI slot seems to come with some rather large retention clips, but as you'll see, it's all part of the genius design. Now, let's move to the installation. The included accessories have quite a few unique and rather unknown additions, along with a clear lack of the usual fistful of screws. If you haven't figured out what the big deal with the K62 is, here it is. You won't be needing this at all. Leave it in the drawer because the Lancool case is 100% toolless. That means you won't be needing a screwdriver to install any of the components. So let's see how it's done. Starting off with the power supply, a bracket is included that fits neatly over the unit and clamps down to hold it into place. It's surprisingly secure and is definitely not going to come loose when moving the computer around. There's also an add-in for cable retention that clips into the bottom of the case to assist with clean wiring. It's little things like this that really make the case stand out. As you may know, installing a motherboard can often be a bit of a frustrating task, having to carefully position screws and manage screwdrivers. That's where these come in. Lancool has specifically engineered thumb screws that are tall enough to grasp and the right diameter to fit in the studs. Motherboard installation really takes a matter of seconds. For the hard drives, the mounting bracket here uses clips on the side to hold the drive secure. There are also vibration dampeners in order to reduce the noise. These brackets do also hold 2.5-inch SSDs, but that will require screws. The drives slide into place in the rack system and are secured by pushing a small lever on the side which closes the gap. The drives can also be installed with the connectors to the back to improve on wiring. The top two external drive bays are screwless as well. An attached clip unlocks from the side, the drive is slid into place, and the clip re-secured to hold the drive. Installation of expansion cards is just as ridiculously simple. The back hosts built-in PCI retention clips and it's just a 3-step process. Unhook the clips, install the card, push the clips back in to securely lock the card into place. Last but definitely not least, we have the challenge of wiring, but the Lancool makes it quick work. The inset motherboard tray and drive bays allow for cables to run up the back and keep clutter out of the front. Spaces on the tray allow for connectors from the back out into the front and to attach where necessary. Unfortunately, water cooling appears to be a feature that was overlooked during the design. The case is not enormous, so spacing for radiators is a bit slim, however that's not really a good excuse. It's already obvious that a dual rad isn't going to work out well. Because the top fans are 140mm and the radiators are typically designed for 120mm fans, the top wasn't even an option. Installing the radiator on the back appears to be the only way to go. Unfortunately, the positioning of the tubing holes is far too close to the 120mm back fan, completely cutting off access. We flipped the radiator around and ran into the same problem. A single rad wasn't available, but the mounting issue would be the exact same. Seemingly, the only place to put a rad is loosely set at the top of the case with no way to secure it. As a result of its clean design and well-placed fans, the K62 has excellent airflow. It features plenty of exhaust points right above the largest heat-producing hardware, and given that heat rises, the top two 140mm fans are perfectly placed. Every intake point is covered by easy-to-clean dust filters, so dirt shouldn't be a problem. And that wraps up our look at the Lancool PC-K62. This case is an excellent piece of work. It takes basic case design, makes it gorgeous, and adds a whole slew of unique features that really make it a joy to work with. The toolless design is anything but a gimmick, and it has practical use that not only shaves off build time, but really reduces frustration. Lancool has taken some of the best of Lian-Li and put it into steel form to keep the price competitive. It is, however, not without its flaws. Water cooling is going to prove to be a problem for those who want to secure the radiator, and there is very little room at the bottom to mount a pump. With that said, we hope you enjoyed our product showcase on the Lancool PC-K62, and be sure to subscribe to receive future video updates. Also check out www.hardwarecanucks.com for daily tech news and written reviews. Thanks for watching.